YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. So I'm seeing a lot of stuff about people kind of already giving up on Brock Purdy. And obviously continuing to say that he is nothing without Deebo Samuel and top weapons on the offense and everybody healthy. Yes, Brock Purdy has played not good the past two games, but I think we can pump the brakes a little bit when we're talking about kind of already painting this image of Brock Purdy not being the guy. Brock Purdy's the guy. There's not going to be no quarterback, debate no longer. That debate was with him and Trey Lance, and clearly Brock Purdy was good enough in the 49ers' opinion to move on from Trey Lance. So Brock Purdy is our quarterback. Nothing will change about that. But I think a lot of people I've been seeing on Twitter talking about how Brock Purdy has came back from outer space and that he's finally touched Earth and whatnot. Look, I think with Brock Purdy, obviously every quarterback, every quarterback struggles in the very end. You could argue, though, last night that Brock Purdy was the reason the 49ers were in the game until the very end. You could also argue that, he couldn't close the comeback and get it done when it mattered most. So here's the thing, and David Lombardi tweeted this out. And it couldn't have been anything farther from the truth. It says, Brock Purdy was 15 for 19 for 192 yards against the blitz. Much was made about how often Minnesota brought heat, and he handled it almost perfectly. He had 10.1 yards per attempt. His issues obviously came late with Minnesota in command when they were up. When Minnesota dropped in coverage, things started to also become a problem. He mentioned it just reinforces the importance of complementary football. If the 49ers defense hadn't let the game flow and get completely away from them, Purdy would have been in a favorable platform, just like Kirk Cousins. And that couldn't be anything farther from the truth. I think, I think Purdy will have to show, good signs and good things coming up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The last thing he needs to do is struggle against a Bengals team with not that great of a defense. Cincinnati has a great pass rush, don't get me wrong, but their secondary is shaky. They did lose Von Bell, and their defense isn't as good as it has been, the past couple years. Doesn't matter, though. I mean, Brock Purdy's still going to have to make the necessary plays, and he's going to still be the decision maker when it comes to, playing quarterback for this offense. So, is it time to worry about Brock Purdy? No. I think everything being said about Brock Purdy on Twitter and around the NFL about how, when the game's in his hands, he can't finish and get the job done. Look, is it true that the 49ers are 0-2 with Brock Purdy when facing a deficit? Yeah. I mean, the only two games we have lost this year are the two games in which we were pretty much behind, in the last couple minutes or whatever, and had to make enough plays to win the football game, and we didn't do that. But to say it's time to worry about Brock Purdy as our quarterback is absolutely ridiculous. Quarterbacks struggle. How many times has Kirk Cousins, for an instance, I like Kirk Cousins, I really always kind of have, but how many times has Kirk Cousins struggled and gotten bashed and bounced back and had great games? Brock Purdy is going to have bad games, but you also have to take the good with the bad. There's also going to be games where against the Dallas Cowboys, who are so-called an elite defense, there's going to be look what he did against Dallas. 4 touchdowns, no picks, pretty much a perfect passer rating. Everybody's giving him praise, calling him elite. which in my opinion Brock Purdy is not elite, because elite's a strong word for a quarterback, and there's only a certain amount of guys in the NFL that are really elite at the quarterback position. So he's not elite, but I tell you this, he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and obviously the 49ers thought that he would be better long-term than Trey Lance, and we have to roll with that. Do I think, is there any worry about Brock Purdy? Like I said, there's not. I mean, I think, again, quarterbacks struggle. Look at Joe Burrow. He's been one of the most struggling quarterbacks in the entire NFL this season. Look at Jalen Hurts. He's, in second place or tied for first place when it comes to leading the league in interceptions. He hasn't been good either. Brock Purdy has had a better season than Jalen Hurts. He's had a better season than Joe Burrow. Some could argue he's had a better season than Justin Herbert. You could argue he's had a better season than, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple other guys out there, but you guys get the point. He's playing and has played overall this year like a top 13, top 15 quarterback, and that's exactly what the 49ers need him to do. And a lot of people forget too, in a way, this is his rookie year. This is his first full year starting for the 49ers. And through 7 games, he has thrown 11 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Purdy's fine in my book. I don't think there's any reason to worry about this. Now, if the continues start to, become or if the struggles continue to become consistent, then we can kind of look at it in a different way. But look, Brock Purdy's one of them guys where he's still very young. I think the biggest thing with Brock Purdy is we're going to have to see how the 49ers are obviously facing a little bit of adversity right now. I think the biggest thing is seeing how Brock Purdy can overcome these next 2 or these last 2 losses we've had, and see how he can respond, for the remainder of the season. But yeah, I mean, as far as putting Purdy already in the category of he's not the 49ers guy, and he's not the answer, the 49ers are screwed because of him, he's the weakest link, or he's the weakest part of the 49ers team, that's not true. Right now, the weakest part of the 49ers team is the defense. Never thought I'd be saying that one, but that's just, I guess, how the way the cookie crumbles. So, no reason to worry about Brock Purdy. He'll be fine moving forward. People give up too much. People have, way too high expectations. And, yeah, I mean, I think when it's all said and done, Brock Purdy handling this adversity will shut a lot of these people up. And, again, a lot of people forget he didn't have his starting left tackle who was the anchor to the offense. He didn't have one of his primary weapons in Deebo Samuel. Should we have still won the game? Absolutely. But those things matter in the long run. Those things matter for any team. Kirk Cousins didn't have Justin Jefferson. He played very well. Kirk Cousins is a seasoned veteran starter. Brock Purdy is not a finished product yet. Again, I think moving forward, it'll be interesting to see how Purdy, can rebound after these past couple games. But, hey, next week against the Cincinnati Bengals is a perfect time to do that. And we'll just have to see what he does. But as far as, saying it's time to worry, it's not. Brock Purdy will be fine. He's not a finished product. A lot of people forget this is basically his first year starting, his second full year in the NFL. No worries there for me at least.